So you've been distributing multimedia and it seems like no one's paying attention. Nobody even cares. What are you gonna do? We're gonna talk about that today on Till We Make It. I'm Mike Quackenbush. This is Till We Make It. And I want to break open a topic that was first planted in my brain when listening to a creative strategist and musician named Lennon Bone. He was talking about how certain things we might imagine are commodities have been devalued in our current market. And I want to explain that a little bit. You might put a match of yours out on social media and it attracts no attention whatsoever. You might put a message out on social media and it garners no engagement. Maybe you take the time to hire a professional photographer, compose a beautiful photograph and put that up on your social media and it earns no attention. It doesn't grab any traction. And after that happens a certain number of times, you might begin to feel like nobody cares. And then it may bubble up in your brain to simply stop trying. You are afraid to put something else out there for fear that it will be ignored. I think what's important to remember is that the current marketplace we are all in has devalued things like a match, like a beautifully composed photograph. There are so many matches being distributed for free that people are less likely to want to pay for that than ever before. That commodity has been devalued. There are so many beautifully shot and composed photographs distributed for free on Instagram all the time that there is very little value left in that type of media. Even the most reclusive personalities in all of professional wrestling, who we used to rarely hear from, we would go out of our way to make sure that we heard their messages, now through social media have a platform to speak to us constantly. So even the value of hearing from them has been reduced. And all of these potential commodities, like a match that you've got, or the output from a photo shoot you paid for, is more difficult to monetize than ever before because the ubiquity of similar multimedia has devalued those commodities entirely. And customers, as a result, are less likely to want to pay for them. Something that's come up a lot in the online seminars that I've been teaching, and I'll link to that archive down below for you in case you want to explore, is the idea of a currency. We are getting people to spend something, and I define currency for the purpose of this conversation as being something which is finite in supply, there isn't an infinite amount of it, and it's got value. So that could be money, right? It's valuable, its supply is finite. That's a currency. But so too is attention. And oftentimes that is the currency that we are trading in on social media, where you might distribute your full match, right? You could post a full match to YouTube. You could post up the product of your photo shoot on Instagram. You could put that out there expecting that the currency that will be spent is attention, only to find nobody's willing to spend that. And then you may begin to feel like, I should just stop doing it. Nobody cares. And I know what that feels like. I have gone through that too. I put things out that I was very proud of to absolutely zero reception, and then I feel like, well, why would I do that again? Have you ever heard this quote? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. That quote's been attributed to Albert Einstein. At times it was attributed to Ben Franklin or to Mark Twain. I don't really know who was the first to ever say it, but I like that idea. So, if you are feeling like what I'm putting out there isn't earning the type of attention, engagement, or traction that I am looking for, two things, my friend. One is the real theme of today, persistence. Persistence. You've got to keep trying, coupled with variety. So persistence in and of itself is great, but if you want different results, you've got to incorporate variety. You're going to combine those two ideas. And what kind of variety? Well, let's say that you've been posting your complete matches to social media. What if instead you cut it down just into small, shareable chunks of the highlights from those matches and try distributing that? That brings some variety to it. You're no longer just presenting the completed match as a whole. You're going to cut that up into little snack-sized bits, and you're going to distribute that to see if that garners better engagement. Or let's imagine that you are sharing the output from that photo shoot that you paid to have done. Okay, could you, for variety's sake, also show images that are part of the process, like a behind-the-scenes photo of you getting ready for the photo shoot? So not only do they get to see what the end product of your labor is, but they get to experience part of your process of making it. Could that variety buy you the attention that you're looking for? What if you are usually tweeting out certain messages, but instead convert those same messages, the same content, into a video that you shoot with your phone, and then distribute to social media? So there you are persisting to make that content that needs to be made. It's gotta be done, right? But you're infusing it with some variety. You are changing the way in which you are sharing it with the audience. Perhaps that will find you greater traction. This idea of persistence with variety goes back to a lesson I learned in the early days of physical media distribution for the company I co-founded, Chikara. In the very earliest days, there were still customers out there that wanted to watch what we made on VHS tapes, even though by that point, the dominant form of physical media had become DVD, and it was clear that it was just a matter of a few years before Blu-ray started to replace these earlier models. But that wasn't the only way in which some people wanted to get the media. Some of them wanted to be able to download it as a file directly to their device, while there were others that didn't want to actually carry the file but wanted access to be able to stream it. And each of these were different methods of delivering the same content. Were the matches any different from the Blu-ray to the VHS, from the stream to the MP4? No, right? It's the exact same output. The content is the same, but the way in which we were serving it up to the audience allowed us to reach people who wanted this but would never want that, who preferred it this way and did not prefer to get it that way. And if you are feeling stuck in the way that you are distributing things but failing to find the level of engagement that you want, you've got to try delivering it different ways. Doing it the same way over and over again, and then imagining that you will magically have some kind of breakthrough moment, well, like we intoned, that's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So change things up. Infuse it with that variety to see if you can't get better results for the hard work you're putting in. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If so, let me know how you might go about changing up your social media strategy down below in the comments. I do love to hear from you. You keep on being awesome. I will keep on making the videos. Together, we will keep on faking it.